Hello, Gauri.
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Good morning, everybody. This is Ojas.
Good morning, Ojas sir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, fine. Whom I'm
Uh,
talking to?
I'm Selvi.
Oh, ma'am, it's told
Ah,
me department. I could not
I
recognize.
I haven't renamed myself. I'll rename.
Okay,
Yeah.
please, please.
Madam and sir will be joining.
Uh-huh.
Principal sir and our director ma'am, they both will be joining in 5 minutes. And
No problem.
10 we'll start the session. Okay.
No problem, ma'am. No problem.
আজকে নানু উঠলাম ভোরসে হচ্ছে 3 बजे से लगातार बारिश হচ্ছে।
Hello, Usha ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, Selvi ma'am. I think our guest has already joined, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Ojas
Principal
sir.
sir is joining in a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ojas sir, Usha madam is our director. Madam has joined.
Oh, good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you, Ojas sir?
Fine,
Welcome.
fine, ma'am. Fine, ma'am.
Welcome to Junjunwala College. Even
Pleasure,
though it's
ma'am.
virtual,
Yeah, Touchwood will make it someday personal also.
sure. Yeah.
Sir, you can give a small idea about your work profile to ma'am. Because
Oh,
it's a
okay.
very unique work that you're doing.
Okay, okay. So, ma'am, generally, the idea whenever we talk about the entrepreneurs are the guys who have their bootstrap budget and they start their own business, right? What I have done is I have picked up the various companies and built the business for them.
Oh,
So the area of collaboration with the most of the organization I have worked with is like I create the platform for the business, then I build the whole business practice, including people, process, technology, etc. Make the business up and running, and then I move on to the next one.
how nice. For example,
Yeah.
which business you have done that?
Okay, my all the activities so far have remained into the technology world.
Oh,
So
how nice.
okay, so by
By developing
education,
app or something, what you're doing?
no, ma'am.
Solution?
Yes. So most of the organization they have their own technology. So I
Okay.
help them in monetizing the technology. So I help them how to sell the technology. Ma'am, I'm a Gujarati, so
Yeah, our principal will be very happy.
yes, yes. So
Yeah,
business is there in the blood.
blood. And I
And
also feel, I say this way,
Mhm.
लक्ष्मी जी है ना,
Yeah.
वो गुजराती लोगों के पास ही रहती हैं,
अरे क्या
सरस्वती
बात है मैम.
मद्रासी लोगों के पास आती हैं.
अच्छा ऐसा है क्या? So anyway, you and me we can be good partners.
Yes. क्योंकि जश बोलते हैं ना सर हाथ में,
हाँ हाँ
वो गुजराती लोगों के इसमें रहता है.
अरे मैम क्या
Somehow,
बात है.
you know, they have that acumen and they can translate the idea
Yes,
into
yes.
wealth, which is very
Yes,
nice.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
I'll
I
just
said.
check, sir, he is there in the other cabin. He
Please,
must
please.
have.
Ma'am, I'll call sir. I'll call
नहीं
him.
नहीं
ma'am.
नहीं नहीं, एक ही मिनट मैं देख के आती हूँ ना, एक मिनट.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Ojas sir, our principal Himanshu sir.
Yes, came to sir.
Jawad sir.
Yes. I also welcome Kunal sir. Nice to
you.
have you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Selvi ma'am, we can begin, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Gauri.
Yes, ma'am. Hello and welcome to everyone present here. Principal Dr. Himanshu Davda sir, Director Dr. Usha Mukundan ma'am, Mr. Ojas Oja, Mr. Kunal Mandal, Professor Selvi ma'am, faculty and students of Ram Niranjan Junjunwala College. I wish you all a very good morning and welcome you in the workshop of the innovative journey of an entrepreneur on the occasion of World Entrepreneurs Day. 21st August is marked every year as the World Entrepreneurs Day, a day dedicated to entrepreneurship, leadership, and innovation, and to create awareness about it across the globe and to celebrate entrepreneurs all about the world. Entrepreneurship is vital not just for job creation, but a very essential and integral part of our economic growth and problem solving. In modern day economy, entrepreneurs are held as the warriors of the free market economy who bring something new to the market and world. Entrepreneurs play a major role in an economy by ushering in new ideas and innovations to the market and thereby creating value for the stakeholders and generating jobs. On this special day, we can turn to the people who inspire and challenge us to be aim for greater heights of achievement and creativity. And one of the important motto of entrepreneurs is they are inspired by people who succeed. With that being said, we are here to take some lessons and tips about entrepreneurship from our today's speakers, Mr. Ojas Oja and Mr. Kunal Mandal.
Let us welcome the man who doesn't need any introduction and is known among all of us for his wisdom and his knowledge, our Honorable Principal, Dr. Himanshu Davda, sir. I would like to request our Principal to present his welcome address.
Thank you, Esha, and a very good morning, everyone. Respected speakers for today, Mr. Ojas Oza, Director, Midcat Advisory Services Private Limited. Mr. Kunal Mandal, Chief Knowledge Architect, Gyan Space. Our very own Dr. Usha Mukundan Madam, who is now the Director of Academics at Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti, the governing body of RJ College. Selvi Madam, our coordinator for the BMS program. All my teacher colleagues from the BMS department, teacher colleagues from the other department, and my dear students. Shall I call all entrepreneurs? So welcome. It gives me pleasure in inviting you all on this World Entrepreneur Day for the online workshop being organized by Department of BMS. Innovative journey of entrepreneurs. Selvi Madam has a very good practice that for any function, she always shares the profile of the guests with the authorities. And she shared with me the profile of our two esteemed guests. When I was going through it, I realized that they have achieved so much in such a short span of time at such a young age. Of course, the secret of the same they shall share with you. But what I gather from their profile is that they have always thought out of box and tried to achieve what they have visualized that can be turned into reality. Well, to do this, you require passion. You require to respect your own thoughts. You require dedication to work towards it. And above all, I think it requires a sense of belongingness to your own self and also to the society, that you would like to contribute to yourself and your society something different that they would use in the time that long after you are also gone. So this theme of the workshop and the guests invited is quite exciting for someone like me who has already crossed 55. So kudos to Selvi Madam and her team. And once again, I extend a very warm welcome to each one of you for a wonderful day that I am also equally eager to go through the proceedings. So welcome guests. Thank you, BMS department. Thank you, Usha Madam, and all dear students. It's your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and your support.
Each student holds so much power within themselves that needs to be let out. All they need is a little direction, a little support, a little coaching to make the greatest things happen. And all these little things are always provided to all of us students by our beloved director, Dr. Usha Mukundan ma'am. I would like to call her for director's enlightened speech.
Good morning, everyone. In fact, I'm speechless because here you all are talking about turning ideas into business and in turn making our country more prosperous. So each one of you in a very short period of time will not seek for employment, but will be providing employment for others. So good morning, Ojas sir and Kunal Mandal sir. Welcome to Junjunwala College. And Selvi ma'am, as usual,
Yes,
you have thought out of the box, and we have two very young, dynamic people who have shown by their action that it is not merely Make in India or Atmanirbhar India, but it is a reality which can be achieved. Having said that, I think India has a legacy that each one of us have an entrepreneur within us. So let us look at our mother. If there is a crisis, she will provide lunch box or start a small scale business so that the entire family survives. Lijjat Papad, I think a self-help group coming together, and every household cannot think about a lunch or a dinner without that papad on their plate. So entrepreneurship is a buzzword, but in each one of us have that gene, I say because I'm from biology. So if the situation arises, we can definitely express that gene and make a living. Ojes sir, it was very nice when you said that it is in your blood. I put it a little ahead. It is in your gene. To translate it into buy only rupees, dollars, or whichever currency you are going to talk about. And you're also doing hand holding so that people become prosperous. You're not thinking only about yourself. We have with us another very young entrepreneur, something very different work he has been doing, Mr. Kunal Mondal. We are very eager to learn from him as to how by Vak Chaturya, you say that you can become an entrepreneur. And you young BMS students, they never lose any opportunity. And each one of them, if they decide, are going to make a bright future, not only for themselves, but also for the country in turn. So with this, I extend a very warm welcome to both of you, sir. And I thank Principal Dr. Himanshu Davda for also being with us in our journey for providing our students all possible opportunities so that they can decide what will make them very happy, what will make them very successful, and what will give them contentment. So thank you so much. And thanks, Selvi ma'am. I'm also very eager to listen to our today's speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your constant support. Now, I would like to call Isha Singh to introduce our first speaker for today, Mr. Ojas Oja.
Ojas Oja sir is a business leader with overall 22 years of diverse experience with IT industry and 15 years of excellence in sales and business development for technology products. He has successfully launched a greenfield sales and business operation in India for one of the Microsoft partner MNC. He had built sales, business development, pre-sales, and tech support team along with other support function. He aligns with organizational goals and drives the business activity with target customer segment for better profitability, customer satisfaction, and growth. He also works with senior leadership team to set the business goal with clearly defined milestones and execution strategy. He has strong orientation in software intelligence, information and application security, testing tools along with cloud strategy and relevant service delivery, practice and ITSM products. He has experience in forming collaboration with ISVs, system integrators, and consulting organization for sell-to and sell-through business growth. He has also represented his employer at various business forums like NASS, CUM, DSCI, IESA, to name a few. Let us welcome our first speaker for today, Mr. Ojas Oja, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Isha, for that nice introduction. Good morning, all the students, my fellow speaker. Good morning, Mr. Himanshu, Usha ma'am, Professor Selvi, and everybody. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to, go back to the world which I love very most, the entrepreneurs, the students who are ready to start their journey into the career. Right. So this is something which I always look forward to, and I always love to be. This is kind of a comfort zone when the people are ready to do something new, something bold in their life. Okay. So I'm not going to, discuss with you today about the policies and the processes and the kind of things which startups should follow. What I'm going to discuss is like, as an entrepreneur, what you need, few basic steps, few basic thread of the entrepreneurship fabric, what you should always have with you, what you should value, appreciate, and practice. So this is something what I'm going to discuss with you. No heavy duty PowerPoint slides. I'm just going to share a few thoughts with you. Hope this is fine with you, everybody. So let me start uh, with those two typical questions with everybody. That am I audible and my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Oh, I don't know. In last 1.5 years, how many times we have read these lines, we have spoken these lines and acknowledged. Okay, great. So, yeah, okay. Would like to start with a quote. I'm sure everybody know what is Canva, and I'm sure 50% of you would be using it on your mobile phone. So this is a kind of an app which helps you in designing the variety of creatives using pictures, using the quotes, using the various background images and stuff like that. So Melanie is the founder of Canva, and she has told very nicely, which resonates very well with the startup ecosystem. It says that if you can offer a free tire that provides a lot of value, it will naturally help your product to spread much more rapidly. Okay, so that's what it says. Like you look at any example of any startup today which offers you a free service, which gives you a free app, which gives you a discounted service. Okay, you are very much attracted to it. So it says that give a habit of your product or your thought or your service to the people, and that adds the value to your product. Right. So with this, yeah, let us start. A small correction I would like to give everybody. Yes, I was associated with Midcat Advisory, and recently I have picked up my new assignment that is with a company called Connectivity Solution. So it's a small correction. I know in the poster in the introduction I have been introduced as the director of Midcat Advisory, but I have the next step now. And now I'm head of service innovations at Connectivity Solution. Last week only I have picked up this assignment, and yeah, need a lot of wishes to be successful here again. Okay, let me talk about my journey so far. This is something what we decided to discuss today. Okay, so after my completion of the studies, did my software engineering and stuff like that. Sometime in 2002, I came to Bangalore. I was in Ahmedabad. I have done my studies there. I have done my initial, some donkey's years of software engineering experience there, and then I switched to Bangalore. The world which always looks forward to Bangalore for as an hub of technology, right? So I was also part of the same group. Was looking forward to do something in Bangalore, and I migrated in 2002 out here. After coming to Bangalore, I continue my journey with the technology world, but albeit a little change into the role. So what I did is I collaborated with an organization called Choice Solutions Limited. Now, this organization was into the system integration business, but they were, providing a part of IT infrastructure to their clients. They were very good at selling the power and other equipments, power-related equipments, right? Uh, when I associated myself with Choice Solution, I told the CEO that you have a set business practice. This is something what I do. I would like to start a new business for you. And the obvious question to me was like, what you will do? Say, let us start selling the new product to the same set of customers. I don't need to find new devils. New devils. I have my new devils. I will very well go back to my same set of customers and sell the new products to them. So we did a little research, spent a couple of weeks, and zeroed in on two parts. One was we should look into the services, that too also related to the technology, what in today's world we call it managed services, right? So this is something what we started earlier days. Uh, we developed a practice. We identified a few areas where we should collaborate with our customer. We should have our own team, skill them with the kind of a service delivery required, and then we go to the customer side and do a service delivery. Bingo. We acquired 3 customers in 1 year, and we started giving the service delivery. One of the customer we acquired is world's largest system integrator called Accenture. So the work we started doing them was onto the support side. We said any employee of Accenture India having any kind of a trouble, he has to dial just one number, and my team will step in and resolve the technology issues. We started with a small team of 6 members, and in 5 years, we grew this team to almost 1,500 team members. So we not only support Accenture on the technology side, we also help them in evangelizing technology. We help them in practicing new technology. We help them in setting up a new technology within the organization. So this is something almost for 5 years I did with Choice Solutions, set up the entire service practice along with the product and technology also. Uh, Acquired few good customers, and during those my days at Choice Solution, I made some good friends. I had some good friends in Microsoft also. So I came to know from those friends that Microsoft is planning to invite their international business partner to do the business in India. They have certain challenges when a multi they have to work with a multinational and an Indian partner doesn't have a presence worldwide. There are certain order execution becomes challenging. So this is how the idea of the Microsoft India was to invite the multinational business partners to come to India and start their business. Now this gives me an idea that yes, this could be my next opportunity. So I did a little research on that, found that 3 or 4 new partners are coming up, and one of them is very interesting, which is a company called Comparex. So Comparex is headquartered in Leipzig, Germany, and they were the 4th largest business partner. Of course, Comparex is being acquired now by SoftwareOne, but in those days, SoftwareOne and Comparex they were the competitors. So did a little research online, found what is the kind of a company it is, who are the people responsible for the business, and found a number of Comparex reception in Leipzig. Dial that number, ask for a particular gentleman, and say that I would like to speak to him. Now, whom I ask for is one of the management leader, the gentleman who sits at the board of the Comparex. So I was told that you need to have an appointment, you need to have an agenda to speak to this gentleman. I said, okay, give me an email ID for him, and I'll reach out. The person at the other end was kind enough to give me the email ID, and I just sent a 4-line mail to that gentleman, and bingo, next week my meeting was fixed. Those were the days I'm talking about 2011 scenario, where we did not have the Microsoft Teams and Zooms and all this. We were having the Skype things. So we decided to get on the phone line and have an initial meeting. Fine. Spoke to that gentleman, connected on a call, and I expressed my desire to associate with them. And he said, first of all, tell me, who told you that we are starting the business in India? Then I gave him 4 or 5 different parameters, that these are the parameters favorable for you to start the business in India. And I believe you have been working on this plan. He was very happy to hear that. And then we had a series of online discussions, meetings, and stuff like that. And one fine day, we decided to associate. So this was my second experience to start a business in India. So it was a kind of a startup for me. I was given a small budget. I was given the expectations, and I was given the free hand to start a business in India. And this is how I started Comparex Greenfield Sales Organization in India. That's in Bangalore. We identified a small place, a few people whom I knew, the friends, colleagues. I invited them to join me. We, planned, chalked out a business plan, and bingo, in 3 months we were up and running. I worked with Comparex for almost 2 years. So after running the business for first 3 quarters, we decided that we should expand from the Bangalore onwards. So we started the business units in Chennai, Hyderabad. We launched a regional business in Mumbai. I hired a leader for the Mumbai office, and we were doing the business. We were doing pretty good. The Comparex is backed by the Raiffeisen Bank, which is in Austria. So the bank was ready to invest some more amount, and they said, "Let us catapult the business to the next league." Now this is the moment where you want to have you want to take that leap of faith. You want to have that big jump in your business. What do? You invest somewhere and acquire. So this is how there was an organization in Delhi which was identified, and we started our merger and acquisition practice. Made an offer, did the due diligence, made an offer to that organization, talked to them, met the senior leadership team, had our own set of negotiation calls and meetings and stuff like that. And one fine day, we convinced them to, I would not say sell their company, but merge their company with Comparex. So this was my first experience of merger and acquisition activity, which Comparex gave me. So by the time I left the organization, something which we started with a first order of a technology of 1.5 lakh rupees. When I left the organization, we were sitting on a revenue book of almost 100 plus. This was my journey with the Comparex, and I'm always thankful to them to give me those experience, give me that kind of support, and give me an opportunity where I could try something new. Now I gained a reasonable amount of confidence that yes, I can start a business. I can build a business practice and a profitable business practice, I would say. So me and my friend, we were talking about like, okay, what should be the next thing into the life? And somehow a very small US-based organization, Verity, got in touch with me. Okay, let me tell you how probably they would have tracked us down is because when I was coming out of Comparex, the next big thing into the market was the cybersecurity. It was the buzzword in those days. That cybersecurity can do this, it can do that, cyber crimes are growing, etc. And so we started exploring the cybersecurity. And that is how where I was looking at the various services, the various products, the technology available into the market, and stuff like that. And I out of a curiosity, I visited the Hoverity website. I downloaded few pages from there, and I was talking to them. And one fine day, I got a call from the business leader of Comparex saying that we would like to discuss something with you. And this is how they said, okay, we are planning to kickstart our business in India, and we have a team of 2 right now, but we are looking for a business leader. And that was my next opportunity. So I had my fair share of discussion with a couple of seniors who were there into the Verity, and who were responsible for the Asia Pacific business. The same grind, discussed with them, prepared, understood the technology, prepared some kind of a business plan, prepared some kind of an investment plan, and presented to the Coverity board, and it got approved. So then I got an opportunity to again start a business for a cybersecurity organization in India. One more business to start. That was exciting. We again got into the same hurdle, started understanding the market, prepared, explored, find out our total addressable market, prepared the strategy, had a couple of team members joined us, and then rubber meets the road. We started our activity, and yes, in a years of time, we could grab a couple of millions of business. But here, before we grow Coverity further, the organization for the Synopsis, they got an eye on Coverity. Let me give you a little background of Synopsis. So, Synopsis, I'm not sure how many of you have heard this name or know about this particular company, but you, me, everybody on this meeting is the customer of Synopsis. Let me tell you how. All of us are using these smartphones. All of us are using variety of gadgets. All of us are using variety of electronics. Any electronics is based on semiconductor. Semiconductor is the basic component of any electronics. And Synopsys has got set of tools and technologies which design this semiconductor, which manufacture the semiconductor, which test the semiconductor, right? So in a way, we all are using Synopsys tools. We all are using Synopsys technologies, or we all are benefiting from the technology, I would say. So Synopsys was looking forward to, go. They wanted to diversify from the chip designing, semiconductor design business, and the next big thing they identified was the cybersecurity. So they made an acquisition offer to the Coverity, and one fine day, Coverity was acquired by Synopsys. So, in the Comparex, I had an experience of acquiring a company. In the Coverity, I was on the other side of the table. Somewhere I was working was acquired by somebody. So somebody was asking me the questions. So it was a good experience, became the part of Synopsys. Had a lot amount of discussions with the leadership team, with the Asia Pacific heads, and expressed them my willingness and my experience about my journey of an M&A activities and stuff like that. So bingo, I got a new role in Synopsys. Apart from the sales, I was also part of the M&A activities when Synopsys was acquiring the companies like Coverity. So again, did the acquisition of three or I would say four more technology companies while I was with Synopsys for 3 years. Integrated their technology products into our current portfolio, did a good amount of business, and then I moved on. Yeah, of course, after Synopsys, I joined another cybersecurity company called Cast, but there my role was a typical into the sales. I did not have any kind of startup experience or a journey for an entrepreneur or something like that. And Midcat Advisory, yes. Now this is a 10-year-old company, but company needed some kind of an practice to be developed. They needed some kind of a leader who can help them in setting the process, setting the policies, and lead the organization towards a growth, successful, profitable growth. So yes, I worked with Midcat also for 3 years, set up the sales organization out here. I was managing the alliances and partnerships into the business. So did a lot of collaborations. It is not always required for you to sell your own technology. If you want to grow, you need to have extended hand, and that's where the alliance, partnership, industry collaborations comes into the picture. And that is something what I did in the Midcat. And in 3 years, I would say that we achieved, in spite of pandemic, we achieved almost 30% kind of a year over year. Did that, been there, done that. I have, I have, I have 9 new assignment on my hand. So in my current organization, which I have joined DPAC, the connectivity solutions, they are very good partners with the Cisco. Again, very good in the networking technology, but they would like to diversify. They would like to build the service organization, and that's my next challenge. I want to build technology service organization for connectivity solutions in coming days, and that's what going forward I'm going to do. Now, this is something I took a lot time to talk about me, my journey, and stuff like that. Now, let us get into the area where I would like to share few thoughts. These are the thoughts coined by various industry leaders, successful startup leaders, but it has got a lot of meaning. It has got a lot of value. So I would like to share those thoughts with you and probably discuss a little further about it. So let's move on. Yeah. So in your startup journey, what do you need? When a child is born, the parent raises the child, and the first thing what they do, they find a good guru for the child. Put the child to a school where the child can be educated, where the child can be taught the virtues of life, where the child can be taught meaning of life, how to be successful, how to educate itself, how to be knowledgeable. The same way, when any entrepreneur starts his journey, he needs a guru, he needs a mentor who understand him, his capability, his thoughts, and the kind of a business model he is talking about. The mentor also participates into the entrepreneur's life. The mentor teach him the few basic lessons of entrepreneurship journey, support him whenever he has got a question, be his anchor during the rough time, support him in spreading his wings, and soar higher. So, any entrepreneur who would like to start his journey needs a mentor. I always say you need to have a mentor in your life. You need to have somebody who can guide you, somebody who can listen to you, somebody who can do a kind of course correction for you, somebody who can give you an input, somebody who is there with you by your side throughout of your journey. That's your mentor. Now, this mentor can be the principal of your college. This mentor can be a professor from your college. This mentor can be somebody whom you are following on a social media and get in touch with him. This mentor can be somebody who is running his business successfully. This mentor can be somebody who is willing to guide you. So find out your mentor. You need to have a mentor. Find out your mentor. Understand your mentor, or rather, give an opportunity to your mentor to understand you. Because the better he understands you, better he will help you out to optimize your capability. Better he will be able to help you out in designing your business model. Better he will be able to help you out in being successful. So, when you start your entrepreneur journey, find out a mentor. Gift a mentor to yourself. That is what something I would say. Yes, you need a mentor. Mentor listens to you, he helps you out, and you move in your journey. So, when you an entrepreneur, it is not a lone wolf kind of a scenario. One person can have his thoughts, he can have his idea, he can have the kind of a business plan. But to work upon that business plan, develop a successful, workable model out of it, prepare your product or services, whatever you would like to foray into, you need a team. You need a team of employees. You need a team of colleagues. You need a team of extended arm believes in your thoughts. The people who work with you, you call them employees. I always call them colleagues. The colleagues, the team members, the employees who are going to work with you, they should believe your thoughts. They should believe your idea. For them, it should not be just an employment. For them, it should not be just another source of income. For them, it should not be just a 10 to 5 kind of a job. It should be a kind of a mission. It should be I would say, a kind of a dream you share with them. It should be a kind of a joint effort. It should be a kind of a collaboration. So you need to have your first set of employees. You need to have your first set of co-workers who believe in you, who has the capability, and who are ready to invest their efforts in your journey to see the dreams, what you are seeing, and to achieve the goals, what you have set for yourself. So first set of employees are very important. You need to have these people because tomorrow when you grow your business, they are going to be the leaders with you, right? You're going to give them the responsibilities to lead the variety of teams, lead the teams. You are going to give them the responsibility to run the various functions for you. You're going to give them the responsibilities to lead other employees, right? So be very careful, be wise, be very cautious when you are selecting your team in your entrepreneurial journey. And move on to the next. Okay. You know, read and understand this slide very carefully. Startup has become a buzzword, not only in India but worldwide. Startup, you hear it into the social media, you hear it onto the every business newspaper, you hear it into the every business forum, you hear about it from the every state or central government leader, you hear about it from every person who is interested in business. Yes, there is a lot amount of hype created in and around startup, and yes, I would say that up to some extent it deserves it. But everybody talks about a startup which is successful. Nobody talks about a startup which has failed. There are a lot of buzzword about the startup. It is always good to be, having the aspiring thoughts. It's always good to start your own business. It's always good to think something new. It is always good to be an entrepreneur. But at the same time, you have to be very cautious on building on your business. Startup is not about raising fund. Startup is not about being into a limelight. Startup is not about to add one more achievement on your resume. Startup is not about getting onto the stage and go gung ho about your thoughts. Startup is all about realizing your dream, realizing your thoughts. Startup is all about, I would say, developing something which can give further employment, which can help somebody, be it a product, be it a service. So don't just start something because you are fascinated with the startup. Don't start something because you want to earn money. Start something because you believe in a particular thought. Start something because you have an idea. Start something because you want to do something new and concrete. But when you start, there are a lot many things which goes behind the scene. You should have an idea. You should ask so many questions to yourself that why I should do it, how this can be helpful to the people, what should I do to make it successful, how I can convince other people that this is a good thought. So always have lot of thoughts before you think of a startup. Have lot of due diligence done for with yourself, with your friends, with your mentor, as I said, and then put a name, then put a tag of startup to that thought. Trust me, the successful number of startups, considering the total number of startups which are, I would not say mushrooming, but I would say which are born every day. The successful startups are in single digit. If you say that there are 100 startups are there will be hardly 6 or 7 out of it which will be able to cross their first 2 years, and there will be hardly 5% of it will cross first 3 years of their journey. So when you start to success. Build your business. A startup guy cannot be only a technologist. Because I can design a piece of software, I would have my startup. No, that is not a right thought. Because I'm an engineer and I can design a product, I will not have my startup. I will have my startup when I am ready to start my entrepreneur journey. It is not about making a piece of software. It is not about designing a product. It is about designing a product, selling it to the customer, and see to that somebody see a value in using that product. That's what a startup is all about. When you build your business, you have to think about product. You have to think about a finance for that. You have to think about logistic of it. You have to think about the people who are going to help you out in building that. That's your HR department. You have to think about running the business. That's your administration. You have to think about how you are going to invest and earn money out of it. That is your finance department. So an entrepreneur need to have that 360-degree view about it. He should be able to visualize the whole 9 yard of his business, and then only he should start. I have seen a lot of startups which get some kind of a fund, or the people over the period of time, they have saved some money, they have their parents' silver, they invest all of these things, but they don't know. They design a fantastic product, but they don't know how to sell this product. They don't know how to monetize the idea they have, and they unfortunately fail. So when you're an entrepreneur, you need to have that capability where you can see your business idea from the multiple aspect, from the multiple angle, and then only you can succeed. When in doubt, bootstrap. Use your own personal resources. That is the easiest way to start a business. Okay. As I said, when you want to start a business, don't just sell your idea to somebody. Don't just make somebody partner in your business for a few dollars, for a few rupees, or for a few lakhs of investment. Don't just dilute your equity. Don't just share your fortune with somebody because you want to have funding. It is, I meet lot many people. I meet lot many startups. The moment I talk to those founders, most of them, they ask the question is like, how can I have my first round of funding? When I can invite the investor, what should be my pitch to the investor? How I should pitch my idea to the investor? Can you share some framework? Can you share some PPT giving me an idea to pitch my product to an investor? I always ask them a question: why you need funding? When you start a business, you invest your own fortune into that first. Again, use your mentor. Reinvest what you're earning out of it. Try to grow without buying money from somebody else. I use the word buying because you are buying that money by giving out your stake. Don't just dilute your thoughts. Don't just dilute your capability. Don't just dilute your equity with somebody. Start the business with your own money. Whatever the little amount of money you have, start small, start tiny. Take baby steps. Grow. Take time to grow. A child is born, and when the child is of 2 months or 3 months, you cannot give a booster shot and make the child a 5-year-old, right? It takes its own time. So when you are in your entrepreneur journey, give it its own time to grow. Give it a time which it requires to mature your business model. It requires uh, the kind of an energy, the kind of a time it is required to, I would say that have that product or a service accepted. Once you know that, yes, this is something what you have done, now you are earning, you have a capability to grow now, you have a team which can sustain that growth, you have a team who is going to handle that particular growth for you, and then you look for the investors. And don't sell your product to the investor, don't sell your service to the investor, sell your idea. When I approach Comparex, I never told that give me an employment because I know that you guys are starting your business in India. I told him that look, India can be a good business opportunity for you. And these are the various benefits you can have. These are the various USPs you can have above the local business partners who are there in India. And that's where I made him say that, why don't you join us? Why don't you lead our business? Yeah. I did not tell him that I would like to lead your business. So the same way, sell your idea to an investor. Let your investor say that I would like to partner with you. I would like to be your partner into the success journey. I would like to pitch in my money. I would like to pitch in my experience, my thoughts with you, and let's make it big. You have to convince the investor, not just with your balance sheet, not just with your business plan. You have to convince him with the thought what you have behind your start. So be an entrepreneur where the I would say the goal you have set, the dreams what you have seen, make him partner in crime. Then the investor will work with you. Otherwise, he will just look for 2x, 3x, 4x kind of an return of his investment. What he is going to do? Convince yourself first that you need this investment, and then only look for the investors. Whatever I'm discussing with you, these are my thoughts, these are my experience. Somebody may have a different scenario, somebody can have a different opportunity, but convince yourself first that what you are doing is right. Take your mentor into the confidence. Ask him, am I doing the right thing? And when your mentor and your thoughts are matching on something, go ahead full throttle on that. Okay. Read this very carefully. This is very important for an entrepreneur. Failures are always going to be there. Somebody who is trying to do something will face the failure. If you don't try to do anything, you will never see the failure. So if somebody says that I have been always successful, if somebody says that I have always achieved what I have decided, somebody says that, oh, this was very easy and I knew that I'm going to succeed in that. No, that is not right. What somebody is giving you is a false information. You have to have your set of failures, big, small, in the starting, within the journey, during the journey, whatever you say. Failures always teaches you. It helps you in doing the course correction for yourself. Okay. I talked about my experience. Yes, I talked about my all the achievements, but I also had my share of failure. I said that yes, I could do something with Comparex in 2 years, but in Choice Solution, I took it 5 years to reach at that level. I had my set of failures. I had my set of sessions with my CEO where he asked me the question that, Ojas, what happened to the money we have invested? Ojas, what happened to the plan, what you have decided, and you say this is something we are going to achieve, we are not there. So what happened? Where you went wrong? What was the issue? Where you did not achieve something what you thought of? I also had my set of failures. I had my set of disagreements. I had my set of those gloomy, doomy evenings, nights, weekends where I was thinking about, am I doing right? Something what I'm trying to do, is it achievable? something what I'm seeing, why others are not able to see. I had that frustration. I had those, I would say, the moments of, disbelief in myself. I had those moments where I asked my life partner, I asked my mentor that, am I wrong? Are you able to see what I am able to see? Do you see that what I am thinking of? I also had my sort of struggle. But you learn from each failure. There has to be a takeaway from every instance, positive, negative, anything. It's required. It helps you out in balancing your act. It helps you out in designing your strategy. I often use this word course correction. It's required. You always do a course correction for yourself. You have to have an external view. So, failures are going to be there. Learn from that. In the college, when your learned professors, your faculties, your teachers, when they are teaching you something, you should grab it with both the hands. When you are out of the college, when you are going to be in your entrepreneur journey, for every mistake you make, you're going to pay for it. And that something what you pay for it is the cost of your learning. So better you learn during your college days, better for you. You will have less amount of failures. You have your own failure and you learn from that. That happens with every human being. But when somebody else has made a mistake, when somebody else has failed, and you learn from somebody else's failure, that's your incentive in the life. So failure is going to be there as a part of your journey, and it's going to make you learn something. So see the failures into the beginning. See the failures when you're trying to grow. That's your middle path. But never entertain at the end of the day. There is one more thought I always tell my team members. I always share it with my colleague. I always share it with somebody whomsoever I'm discussing the business. I say, if you want to fail, fail fast. There is no point in your entrepreneur journey to fail after 10 years, to fail after 5 years. If you're going to fail, fail in first 6 months, fail in first 1 year, fail in first 3 years. You will have smaller, big failures. And mind well, when I'm talking about a failure, it is not talking about shutting down your business. When I'm saying a failure, it could be a failure in designing a product. It could be a setback into the kind of a service you would intend to provide. It could be a bad deal. You have done your business deal with something and somebody defaulted on his or her commitment and you see a failure. It happens because of the business environment. I mean, before pandemic, nobody has thought about pandemic, right? And there are so many business models which has failed because of pandemic. But there are so many business models which are born out of pandemic scenarios. So failures are always going to be there. But see to that it doesn't become your fate. So see the failures as a learning essence. See them as your stepping stone of your journey. See them as part of your journey. See them as your sometimes speed breakers. See them as your those hairpin bands where you need to do your course correction. But end of the day, you got to be successful. You cannot define failure. Nobody can define the failure. Nobody can define the success for you. It is something what you should be able to see, you should be able to experience, and you should be able to learn from. This is something I wanted to share with you all, guys. I thank you, Professor Selvi, to reach out to me and give me this opportunity. I am thankful, the respected principal, the director, madam, and the entire team of the Junjunwala giving me this opportunity. I I'm done with the thoughts which I wanted to share today. Of course, we can always connect again and discuss something more. But if you have questions, I'll try to answer
Ojas sir, I think some questions are there in the chat box.
them. Okay, let me have a look at it.
There's one question: how to find a good mentor?
How to find a good mentor? Okay, good question and a little tricky one. Uh, a mentor is somebody who listens to you, who understands, and who point out the weak side of yours. So somebody who always tells you that, wow, you are doing a fantastic job. Oh, you are really impressive. He's not a mentor. A mentor is somebody who helps you out in correcting your mistakes. A mentor is somebody who is ready to invest his time and guide you. So share your ideas with 10 different people, and I'm sure your instinct will say that, yes, this is the right mentor for you. Somebody who spends time with you, somebody who is giving you that thoughtful ear is your mentor. So my favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur. Okay, this is one question I have seen. I would say that normally it happens that when an entrepreneur is starting his journey, he starts it with own investment. I have always done the business with somebody else's money. Yeah, jokes apart. My best favorite thing in my journey is working on new ideas. So the various organizations I have worked, everybody works into the separate set of technology, separate technology segment. I have always tried to, explore a new technology segment and always try to do something new. So that's my favorite part. Opening and starting a new challenge. Starting to look into the uncharted territories, unknown area. Let me scroll it from the beginning. So, how to find a good mentor, I answered that. Favorite aspect of entrepreneurship, I answered that. Is it necessary? Mentor should be from your field of interest or the one who let you make right decision. I would go with the second one. Who let you make the right decision. Trust me, I have a couple of mentors uh, who don't know anything about technology, who don't know anything about technology. I have a mentor who helped me out in learning and crunching the numbers. I have a mentor who helped me out in executing my strategy. I have a mentor with whom I always discuss that what should be the next in my life. So yes, somebody who helps you in taking the right decision is your mentor. Somebody who is from your field and tells you that here you are doing wrong and you should do it this way, he is your guide. And mind well, there is a difference between a guide and a mentor. If you are willing to start a small business but don't have enough finance and can't quit your jobs, then how can we pursue our dreams? Okay, this is interesting. You want to start something small, don't have enough finances, and can't quit our jobs. Okay. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, first thing is you should be ready to take some risk. Now this risk can be in form of investing your own saving. This risk can be asking your father and convincing him in investing his life saving into your idea, or this risk could be quitting a job and focusing on this. When you want to pursue something, you cannot ride two horses simultaneously. You cannot sail in two different boats simultaneously. If you believe that your thought is right, get right mentor for you. Have a thoughtful discussion with your mentor. Weigh your all the options and then go ahead with your thought. But yes, doing a job simultaneously, you can work upon an idea could be your first step in the entrepreneurship. But an entrepreneur is 100% focused personality who is working on a thought. If you are an entrepreneur, you cannot work with somebody, you cannot work for somebody else simultaneously. So take some kind of risk, calculative risk, I would say, and then decide about the next step. So yes, if you have to do that, if you feel the merit in your thoughts, you have to do your job and do it. Okay, one thing I did not share with you. Yes, at one point of time in my life, I was doing the business with one of my uncle. I was working with him in his business, I would say. But the day I got introduced to the world of computer science and technology and the kind of a benefit I saw into that, I quit that business and joined the software engineering course. I did my software engineering and then jumped into it. So yes, when I saw a benefit of it, I had to quit that business. I had to quit that business and join it. So you have to focus on your dream. You have to focus on your 100%. You cannot focus on two simultaneously. Sir, since you have been tech, you are from the tech background, so you must be aware about the blockchain technology buzz that is taking place. Yes. So what are your thoughts about this technology and where do you see this in coming decade? Trust me, blockchain is going to play a big role into the technology world. It is something which can help you in compliance. It is something which can help you in maintaining your history. It can something which can save you from the variety of cyber frauds. It can help you in maintaining something which we have never thought about with our traditional technology. So yes, blockchain is going to be a big thing going forward. Yes, if you want to, be an entrepreneur with the technology, blockchain is the space you can be into. But mind well, blockchain acceptance has its own challenges. It's gonna take its own time. This is, the relevant kind of question I always see. Sir, do you have any investment in Bitcoin? Do you see Bitcoin as the future of the financial world? You don't have a definite answer for that, but yes, it has got a good potential. So I would say that same way for the blockchain, that yes, you would like to do something into the blockchain, please do that. In the Bangalore, I have seen few startups who are doing really good work with the blockchain technology, and yes, it has got a potential into the future. I stammer and I feel uncomfortable while speaking to someone unknown. And if I want my future in business, I have to talk to many people, and that's an hurdle. You are, is this Ayush, right? Ayush, believe in yourself. When you are stammering, the first person who is noticing that you are stammering is yourself. Have a confidence. I don't know whether you have noticed or not, but while we started this session, when before I started my presentation, uh, I had at least 3 or 4 sips of water. Why? Because I was self-conscious. I would not say I was nervous, but I was self-conscious. A bit of nervous, let me confess. That's where I needed that. Once I started, I have my share of confidence. I don't need any support. So the same way, Don't worry about that stammering thing. It's a very small thing, and people are interested in your thoughts. People are interested in your capability. People are interested in your potential. If somebody who is not focusing on your thoughts, somebody who is not focusing on your idea, but focusing on your stammering, trust me, he is not a right listener for you. Get out of that place. It's never, never a hurdle. And speaking is not the only thing. Your work speaks for yourself. Your business plan speaks for yourself. Your idea speaks for yourself. So, in my opinion, this is not a hurdle. Everyone is talking about its advantages and how it can revolutionize the whole system we use now. So what are the limitations and hurdles in implementing the kind of technology? What kind of technology? I think this is a follow-up question. Is it something related to the blockchain? The acceptance, the kind of coexistence with the current set of technology, that is the challenge. And trust me, there will be days where we will have this coexistence in place.
Uh, uh, Ojas sir, I think
Yes,
even the
ma'am.
second speaker has joined.
Mhm.
Mr.
So we should
Kunal
wrap up.
Mandal has joined now.
Okay.
I think all the questions have been covered.
Okay, that's great. If anything else, if I have missed out, I would say these are my contact coordinates. Of course, I have not put mobile number out here because I don't want to be a situation where I'm in somewhere in midst of a discussion and I don't pick up somebody's call. So my email ID is there, my LinkedIn profile is there. You can very well connect with me if you have some further questions, follow-up questions. Please connect. I would love to answer. Thank you very much, everybody. Once again, the entire leadership team of the college, all the students, everybody, for giving me this opportunity to connect with you, share my thoughts with you. Thank you once again. God bless and be safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very grateful that we got a chance to attend such a valuable session of yours. Thank you for sharing so much information about your journey, tips about startup, and all the guidance. I'm sure it will be an aid to budding entrepreneurs. Thank you, sir. I
My
request Team
pleasure.
Technical to present the token of gratitude. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. This is lovely.
Now, I would like to introduce our second speaker for today, Mr. Kunal Mandal sir. Kunal Mandal sir is optimistic and passionate about building businesses, transforming ideas, and lifelong learning. He is an engineer by education, game evangelist by profession, creative experimenter by nature, and collaborative change maker at heart. He has worked extensively in the media industry, primarily with Reliance Big Synergy Media Limited. He has also worked as a content strategist for various TV shows, including Kaun Banega Karodpati, and has produced content in over 10 different languages. He has also co-founded Gyan Space, a gamification company which uses quizzes and other games as a tool for people's engagement, and citybitesindia.com, a travel portal which shows travelers discover and book inspiring city experiences provided by local experts. He is also host of chart-topping podcasts, Stuff Tales, and Kya Swade. He studied production engineering at Jadavpur University and gamification at Wharton Business School. He mentors early stage startup founders and also runs an online course for aspiring podcasters. He is currently on a mission to teach curiosity as a skill, increase awareness about sustainability, and curate incredible life experience that inspire interesting humans do interesting things. Let's welcome our second speaker for today, Mr. Kunal Mandal, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be here. And of course, it's the World Entrepreneurs Day. Nothing can be better. It's a special day. I think it's people who have taken the brave path and have taken the wonderful opportunity of entrepreneurship in their life. I want to thank each and every one of them. And I also want to congratulate everyone who is joining this call, because you've taken the first step to probably becoming a future entrepreneur. So please clap for yourself for being here. You know, showing up is 80% of the work. So glad that all of you are here. Just a word of caution, I am actually joining from Calcutta and it's heavily raining here. So if at any point, my internet drops off or something, then please allow me to come back, because if there are some disturbances, please forgive me for that. All right, so I was present during the sort of last moments of Ojas sir's presentation, and I caught the important part probably, which is the importance of failure in your life. So I think that's a extremely important trait in an entrepreneur's life. So please keep that in mind. And I enjoyed the questions that you asked, and the wisdom that sir has imparted on all of you. So I assume that you have a lot of questions and you would like to ask them. So what I'll do is I'll try and keep my part of the dialogue, or rather, sort of lecture short. And then I would want all of you to basically ask as many questions as you can, and I'll try to answer as many as I can within the time period that has been stipulated. So today I'm going to talk about something which is actually a pretty exciting field that is coming up, which is called creator and passion economy. I don't have any slides, so please forgive me for that. And what you need to do is just follow me, and preferably take notes, because if you put pen to paper and keep something noted down, you will remember it better and probably will pay more attention. So let's try that for a difference. And these days everything is virtual and too many presentations have gone into our life. So for once, let's just try and listen and absorb. All right. So since you have listened to my introduction, and to tell you briefly, I'm a quiz master by profession. All right. That's the easiest way to introduce myself. I ask questions for a living. So I thought it would be pertinent for me to begin this session with a question to all of you, right? So you have the chat open. I want to know what you think about two things. All right. So if you think, how many of you think that you are a content creator? If you think you are a content creator, write yes in the chat box. How many of you think that you are a content creator who create content of some kind on a daily basis? Let's see how many of you agree with that. Okay, I have a few yeses coming in. All right. There are about 200 of you. So about 10 of you think that you are content creators. What about the rest? You don't think you create content? You're not a content creator? Okay, a few more yeses have come in. I know those half hands which have started going to become full hand. All right, all right. So I get the feelings that you are, a lot of you are content creators. Now let's look at another question, which is, how many of you think you are a business person, right? Many of you think you are content creators, but do you think you also run a business, or you are a businessman or a businesswoman? Okay, I have a few yeses there, not many. Actually, technically just one yes. Okay, 2, 3. Got it, all right. So there is someone who is saying I'm doing small business. Yeah, any kind of business. If you think you are a businessman or a businesswoman, doesn't matter. You must be doing something. Okay, all right. So few of you are, right? So what I want to talk about today, that if you are a content creator, you are actually already a business person, right? And you are already an entrepreneur, you just don't know it yet. And today's dialogue is basically going to be in that direction. So one of my favorite books, and also a very popular book, is titled The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So my talk today, I've titled it as 7 Habits of Highly Effective Creators. All right, because we have moved away from, we began with something called a widget economy, where the unit products sold at a mass scale would generate revenue for a large corporation like Coca-Cola. And then we have moved from there to knowledge economy. So for a long time, people who had knowledge, they could, develop a business around it. So the best example is McKinsey and, the BCG is basically the consultants of the world. They claim that we have the know-hows, we have the knowledge, and we build a business around it. Now, it's time for passion or creator economy. What it means that if you can create something which people are willing to consume, you can actually build a business around it. All right. So I'm going to tell you about 7 things or 7 principles or habits that you can probably follow to move from being just a content creator to actually becoming a business person yourself. And the first thing is the mindset of business, which means that you have to remember that you are in the business of you. That's the first part of, or the first habit or the first principle that you have to keep in mind. Now, a very famous American rapper once said that you're not a businessman, you are a businessman. So that's actually a very popular quote that goes around as memes on the internet quite often. So what Jay-Z was trying to say is that as a content creator, you are a legitimate business. What is a business? As long as you have possible revenue streams, a marketing and a branding strategy, and some cash flow, you are a business, right? So in this case, the thing is that you are the one who is creating the content. Your content has a revenue stream. You unknowingly, when you post something on social media or elsewhere in different formats, you actually market. And there is a branding strategy because you create yourself as a brand. And you market it by sharing it, on various platforms and asking your friends to share it and things like that. Now, sometimes brand partner with you and give you some, cash, and that's the cash flow that comes in. So it's in a sense, if you start observing these patterns for something that you're creating, you actually can be called a business. And who is the CEO of this business? It's you. And if you think that you are just starting up, then consider yourself a startup, and there is no CEO. All right, you have to do literally everything. Now, the takeaway from this principle for you to keep in mind is that for you to present yourself as a business, you need to do 2 things. If you're working somewhere, then expand your professional network, okay? So that the supply chain of work is established for you. When people know about you that you can do this thing, and you have a professional network who needs that thing, or who at least know that you can deliver that thing, they will come back to you and give you work, right? So that's one supply chain that you have to establish, and that can be done by expanding your professional network more and more. The second thing you need to do probably is building your personal brand. Now, in today's world, if you are a creator, you are a brand, period. So you have to put yourself out there and share your thoughts, share your actions, and so many other ways that your authenticity gets kind of multiplied, right? And broadcasted quite heavily in different places so that people know about you. They know what you do, how you do it, and where you do it or who you do it for. These 3 things are equally important for you to share. which technically speaking that, earlier days you have a website for a company who would have all these things written, but now you'll have to use other platforms to talk about the same things. The second principle. So first principle, I told you that you are a business of you. Note it down. All right. So the second one is finding the product market fit. Now, if you're not a student of business, this sounds a little jargonish, but I'll try and simplify it for you. So in short, it basically means finding a sort of sweet spot between what you create and what other people want, right? That is all, what you create and what other people want. Now, in this case, as you notice, you've got two variables, right? So one is your product, which is basically your business, and your audience, people who you are targeting. Now, in content, it's a bit more complicated. So what happens there is that there is one more variable that gets added. All right. So the first one is when you think of content as a business, the first one that comes is medium. Now, what do I mean by medium? It's something through which you communicate, right? So there are basically four of these. Either it's visual, or it's audio, or it's text, or it's video. Now, this will determine the platform through which to distribute content, right? So if it's visual, you typically post it on Instagram. If it's audio, you launch a podcast. If it's text, you're either putting it out in the form of a blog, or you're writing on platforms like Medium or Substack and things like that, right? And if it's video, either
8 minutes, Bela, 8 minutes. Oh, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You had some question?
No. By mistake, I turned on my mic.
Okay, all right. That happens, not a problem. So by the way, if any of you have questions while I'm talking, please feel free to put them in the chat. All right. I will probably answer them in the end, but if thought process is coming and questions are coming, please feel free to put it in the chat. So I was talking about Medium, right? And the four things. So video is, either it's on YouTube, you put it out, or you put it out as Reels and, other like Snapchat and things like that. Those are all video form of content. Now, the second thing in this is message. That means, what is it that you want to say? What is your core message or idea? If I can tell any other way, then what people will remember you for. Like, you put out a content, people have to remember, wow, this was really nice. Like, I've never heard this thought process before, or this interesting information before. So that has to be that much powerful, and that will eventually become your so-called niche. We'll talk about this slightly later, that how do you really find it, but every successful content creator or entrepreneur has one. In my case, that is curiosity. Because I'm a quiz master, my products are all around, questions, answers, and interesting way of looking at common things or complex things and making it simpler for people to understand. So for that, you essentially need curiosity. So that's just one word that sort of stems from me, defines me, and I identify with that very well. And also other people identify that word with me as well. Now, what this means is that curiosity as a habit, curiosity as a skill, I keep building it, and I keep imparting the same thing to others. Like, that's my leverage liver. Right, at one point, like the famous Greek scientist who wanted to move the earth, he said, give me a liver and I'll do that. So it's kind of that. So for me, it's curiosity. That's my fulcrum. So you have to find something like that for yourself as well. And all your messages would basically stem around that, identity and belief and principle that you are developing for yourself. The third part of this is the audience, of course. So who is the audience? The people you basically seek to influence, or who basically are your tribe, your fans. It's all about them, right? Now, you must be wondering that I originally told you two variables, but now there are three variables. So what happened to the product of business thing? So in content, your product is basically your message that you deliver through a specific medium, right? So both of them creates the product or the business. So that's why there is one more variable in this case. Now, let's move to the third principle, right? So what you need to now do is choose a medium that you can't do without, or you are extremely comfortable in. You know, it's like a pillow. You can't do without it, and it can't do without you. So that means choosing the perfect medium for you. So of course, there are mediums like YouTube, or you can blog, or you can become a podcaster. And there is no reason to think that one medium is better than other, right? It might seem that YouTubers have all the glory these days, but you can become equally successful in recording podcasts or writing books or having a blog. All of those are very much possible. For example, I am not too comfortable always putting myself out on video and talking to people, but I do that through podcasting, right? So I am very comfortable in the audio format of content. So I just put on a mic, put on my pajamas, and I record, right? And I put that episode out. So that is something that I'm comfortable with. So it's all about a matter of preference, ability, and choice, nothing else. So don't think about which platform is the best to get in, whether they, they will, work or not. Just three things. If you prefer it, go ahead and do it. If you have the ability to do it, go ahead and do it. And if this is something that you choose, then that's your choice. So that's how you have to kind of choose a medium, like find something which you're very, very comfortable with. Now, sometimes it's also about a bit of strategy, right? So let's look at some of the numbers. There are about 500 million. I would have loved to do this as a question, but I think we have limited time, so I'll try and do this myself. So the number of blogs in the world, if you take a guess how many of them are there, that's about 500 million. Now pay attention to the number, right? Then that means number of 500 million people every day, they write a blog, or there is an active blog that exists, which about 500 million people writes. Now, let's go to the next, sort of biggest content platform, right? That is YouTube. Now, how many YouTube channels do you think exists in the world? Of course, this data keeps changing, every few months. But as far as the latest that I had, 31 million YouTube channels are there in the whole world. 31 million people have channels, or 31 channels. One person can have multiple channels. 31 million YouTube channels exist. But guess how many podcasts are there right now? It's only 850,000 in the whole world, and much less in India, because the American market is kind of at the peak right now. The Chinese and the Southeast Asian market is picking up, and India is somewhere there and trying to sort of, grab the best of it. So what if you're thinking of beginning, to become a content creator, you're looking for the right medium. And if audio is your thing, podcasting is the medium right now to get into, because less competition. And if you can create meaningful content consistently and add value to a group of people, there is high chance that you would become successful in a much lesser time period than you would probably do on a popular platform like blog or YouTube, where already a lot of people are competing with each other. Does that mean that you cannot, do text format content or, video content? Of course you can. There are other platforms coming up, right? So for example, in audio also, there's a platform which has recently come up and got very popular called Clubhouse. It's a live audio platform. where people come together, discuss, and then disperse. So that's like really caught up. So that's another platform where you can build your brand. Similarly, if you're writing, there are platforms like Substack, where you can actually run a newsletter business. Or like if you're, so for example, imagine this. There are people I know who write fiction stories, right? So they write one chapter and then they send it as newsletters to others, and that audience wait for the next chapter to come. So it's like reading a book in and binging a book, if I can call it so. It's like watching a Netflix series episode wise. It's the same. You are reading a book chapter wise on your email directly from the writer, and you're paying directly from the writer. Directly to the writers. There is no middleman. There is no publisher who is publishing your book. There is no Amazon that you're buying the book from. There is no physical copy that is coming to you. So that is actually happening. Do check out Substack. It's a brilliant platform. It's completely free for you to sign up and start a newsletter today, right? If you want to create a paid version of your newsletter, then they will take a very small commission out of it, and you can actually run a business around the content that you're creating by people subscribing to your content. All right. It's almost similar to YouTube, where YouTube gets a lot of revenue, but in this case, it's direct to you, right? All right. So at this point, let me share something with you in the chat as well. So in the introduction, they have already told you that I do a podcast course. So if you think, and I honestly think podcasting is a great medium for you to get into now and begin with. So if you want to check out, this is what I do. This is a course that I run online, and you can check out the details and see how it's structured, right? And if you think that's something that you would be interested in, you can definitely sign up for it. I think the sign up is open and it's going on. Okay, let's move to the fourth point. We've covered 3 so far. The fourth point is play it, don't work it. What I essentially mean by that is that find something, some work that feels like play to you, but looks like work to others. For me, it's researching, right? So I enjoy researching about a topic or a subject or a business, or even as esoteric a subject like, let's say, nuclear science and its application in a specific field, right? And I will make a set of questions on them, which will make that complex subject easy for people. Like a lot of you, I actually do this thing for cryptocurrency also. So a lot of you must be wondering what cryptocurrency is. So I try and make things simpler by, breaking it down into a simple quiz format, which you simply answer, looking at option, you try to guess, and then that's how you learn in the process, right? It's a very well-established process of question answer as a mechanism for you to learn better. Now, in this case, you need to find, so like I also am very good at like understanding my audience. I have some sales skills which I've developed over time, being an entrepreneur. Now, these are all something called specific knowledge, right? So you're all aware of something called a general knowledge, which people would say that is very important in a quiz or a competitive exam, because there are a lot of these. So which it essentially means is that you have to be generally aware about what's happening in the world, and you have to be in the know, basically, right? What's the advantage of that? Advantage of that, if you know about something, then you can delve deeper into it, right? That's the purpose of curiosity. So here it's something like that. So general knowledge was something that you needed yesterday, right? Today, you need something like specific knowledge. Now, specific knowledge is something that you have and others can't easily get it, right? So for example, and it's very innate to you, right? Like I have an ability to sort of absorb data. I kind of obsess about it. I break it down, quite often. That's a specific skill that I have. Now you have to find what you have like that. So how do you really find it? So it's done by pursuing really your innate talents, your genuine curiosity. Like there are few things that you would be extremely passionately curious about. It could be, so for example, I am very passionate about lost recipes, right? Whenever I travel to more than 40 countries. So I keep going to different of these places. I find very local cuisine, something, which is sort of a recipe that is not cooked often. If I find it, I'll take a notebook and sort of note it down and then bring back home, right? I collect them. I also collect stamps. Now that's I'm very passionate about. I have a particular series where I focus on educational institutions and science related objects. So that is sort of that I am innately curious or passionate about. So something you also have, every one of you have it. So you just need to start noticing it and then delve deeper into it, right? So specific knowledge is something that it's not going to, basically it's not by going to school, you cannot learn it. And it's not learning whatever the hottest job is about today, or it's not going into whatever field investors say it's the hottest. It's not that, right? It's about really going deep down inside you and finding out that what is it that you are really passionate or curious about, and then try and explore that and develop a knowledge around it, which becomes your specific knowledge, right? So it is said that very often specific knowledge is at the edge of knowledge. There is an edge in the knowledge. So it's exactly that. It's also stuff that's only now being figured out, right? And it's really hard to figure out. If people have already figured it out, then it's not your specific knowledge, right? Keep that in mind. If you're not 100% into it, remember somebody else is. So the somebody else who is 100% into it will definitely outperform you in this case. And they won't just outperform you by a little, they will actually do it by a lot. And you can't compete anymore. So it's always better to find something that you are innately passionate about and build something around it, right? And the funny thing, you would be saying that, sir, it's hard to develop, specific knowledge. I mean, there are no courses. I don't go to, I can't go to a college and learn, get a degree on it. The fact is, it has never been easier to become an expert in a brand new field in a period of, I would say, 9 to 12 months, right? Rather than, than to have studied it long time back. It is very possible in today's world because of internet. The world has opened up, given you opportunities to find places like Udemy and Coursera, or even professional experts who are now teaching online, right? So that's another creator economy. Look at it. Did you ever think that teachers would become their own business and make money out of it? There are so many people who are teaching right now. For example, I am doing a course on podcasting for aspiring podcasters because I have learned how to hack the podcast system, let's say. So similarly, there are other people who have figured out by doing what they do really well, and now they're sharing that knowledge with others, right? In exchange for a certain cash, right? Or an amount. And that's much lesser than going to university. Like these days, if you ask me, they're like, I'm talking about, let's say 10, 12 years ago, there was no MBA course available online, which you can do for like, maybe $1,000 or $10,000. You have to pay, $100,000 and get a great MBA degree from, MIT, Sloan, and other colleges, which are very high standard and also very high expensive courses, offer expensive courses. Now you can actually learn. There is a program called $100 MBA program. Do check it out. It's fascinating, right? You want to know about entrepreneurship? Everything is free. Go to Founder School by just search Founder School online, and I'm forgetting the name. This is the Silicon Valley investor who runs these. This is a free YouTube channel where you can get all of these information about how to become an entrepreneur, how to find an idea, and so many things. There is Startup School, there is Founder School, right? So this is fascinating, right? There's so many things which are available to you now at a much cheaper cost than before, and also accessible to you. That means you don't have to physically go to that location to learn. You can do it. You can do it online. You can learn it from the best person who is located somewhere else. There are stories where there is a Chinese professor, I'm forgetting the name, he basically quit his own college and he teaches economics. So he made some $200,000 online by teaching economics to a large number of students because they wanted to learn from him. It has nothing to do with the university. So he has basically quit the university system and said that I'm going to teach you economics, come to me and learn from me. And that is happening more and more often, right? And also the best colleges have now started offering many of the courses online, right? You have MIT Open Courseware, you have edX who offers courses from Harvard and a lot of other colleges. And a lot of these videos are also available online. So if you want to learn, just go and find Stanford University's channel on YouTube, right? You'll find a lot of interesting classes that are actually put on YouTube for free. So you can learn what they learned, right? So those excuses are no more going to hold for you. If you really want to, like, if you found something interesting, so a lot of you are asking about blockchain. How many of you have actually taken the initiative to go and find an online course, an online material, and actually learn about blockchain end to end? There are courses to do that. Find it, do it, and then practice it. You will become expert in it. All right. Let's move to the next point. Fifth point, that is finding the zone of super you. Or in other words, someone will call it your zone of genius, right? The one that I was talking about, like who you are, what you want to do, what your message is going to be. All of this will stem from this. And this, I want you to do an exercise, right? So take a sort of, if you have a piece of paper or notebook, or if you have an app on a phone where you can draw and things like that, open it up, right? And create create a demarcation, just put a line between so that there are two halves, right? So in one half, you write curiosity, and the other half you write expertise, right? And then note down things. So what do you have to note down? In the section which is about curiosity, note down things that you're curious about, okay? Like, for example, if I'm doing it, I would write, okay, lost recipes, stamps, traveling, or it could be, you know, building businesses or anything that you're curious about in general. Write them down in that column, in the column of curiosity. All right. It's a 2-column thing. In the left column, you write all your curiosities. In the right column, you put down your expertise. And you say, sir, I don't know what I'm expert in, right? Don't worry about it. Just think about something that you have done in the past, which you have done probably really, really well, and you are proud of yourself for doing that, right? So that's one way to find out some things that you are expert in. The second thing that you can do is you can ask your friends that, you know me for quite some time, and what do you think I'm good at, right? And people will say a lot of things, you know. So they will say you are good at persuading others, you are good at mediating discussions, you are good at making decisions. Like if you go to restaurants and you are the one who orders for all of your friends, right? So that means you start noticing these patterns, right? So they will also notice it for you, and they can actually tell you things that you probably haven't found out about yourself, or you're not too confident about accepting that for yourself. You'll be surprised. Okay. So do this exercise and then start finding commonalities between these two columns, the curiosity and the expertise, and try and see where these two matches. Like, for example, let's say you are interested in building businesses, or you're curious about building businesses, and somebody has said that you are very good at persuading others. So maybe if you combine these two, maybe sales is a skill that you can develop, right? Maybe that can become your zone of genius. But this is not a hard and first, like immediate result exercise, right? So you won't know this immediately. You'll have to keep doing this. You have to keep doing iteration of this over time by trying different things. And I think you are at the right age to also try that out. Be more experimental, try everything. Like if you are trying to create content, create in all platforms, in all formats. See where you are good at, right? Or where you really have the skin in the game, like you can be better than others, then utilize that. So awareness is a key, which comes from curiosity, and then you have to transform, from that awareness, you have to transform yourself, right? So as they say that information, from there you have to lead to transformation, but in between what is there for you to do that is action. You have to take action to make it happen, right? Okay, the sixth point is your audience is your God. Like they say in business, your customer is king. In this case, your audience is your God. Keep that in mind and never forget that. In 1999, there is a person called Seth Godin, who you should definitely check out and read his books. He came up with a term called permission marketing. It's basically the opposite of ads. Because ads interrupt and we hate them for that because we didn't give them permission. So he said that's why Super Bowl ads don't work, because they appeal to too many different people. So what this essentially boils down to, his concept is that if you have a loyal following of people who are ready to listen to what you have to say, who trust you, they will buy anything you send their way. So why do you think this micro influencer are actually so influencing? Because once you have built that trust, see, another thing I keep in mind that India, we are a trust deficit society, right? That is why every business who wants to sell multiple products needs to build trust first and then sell. If you do other way around, you will actually have a hard time selling in India, right? So keep this in mind. And that's why, Tata is something, a brand which is associated with trust. That's why anything that comes from Tata, we think they're good because we trust them. We think that this product would be really good and we would buy it blindly, right? I'm generalizing it, but in most cases that is true. So this is what you have to do for your own brand online. You have to build a reputation online, right? Build that trust online. And how do you do that? By producing meaningful content, by actually adding value to people through your content. Just to give you an example, so I run 2 podcasts. So one is called Stuff Tales, which is basically about it's a narrative podcast about extraordinary history of ordinary everyday things. All right. So I pick up objects like a bicycle or a toothbrush or a Barbie doll and try and see that who made it, why they made it, and how it came to be in the world, and then how it evolved as a product that we all use today. Right. Now, over time, in a few weeks, it actually reached the top 5 podcasts in India in Apple Podcasts in all categories. Right now, the podcast is not live as we have completed 1 season and the second season has not yet come up. But we did really well in the education category. It was like the top 2 podcasts for quite a few weeks, and also in the top 5 in all categories. Right, with all the other big names, my podcast was out there, and I was basically a no one because I started. That was my first podcast. I was always wondering that why would people listen to my voice? I don't know. So all of these reservations that you might be having in your head that I don't know if what I have to say people will like or not. I also had, but to be honest, when I started putting things out, there were always some audience who started coming. And then it grew. It grew massively because with a few episodes, I have built a trust for them. That means the quality of the content was so good that people started liking the episodes and they started sending feedback, and they said, okay, when is the next one coming? What is the next one about? Right? So this is also going to happen with you if you keep producing meaningful and quality content on a regular basis. Another podcast that you should definitely check out that I do in Hindi with a food blogger friend of mine called Kya Swad Hai, right? It's a Hindi podcast on food that we eat. So we talk about, biryani, we talk about kebabs and things like that. And it's about memories and stories associated with food. Now, it's a very casual podcast, conversational podcast, and it really resonates with the audience. Do check this out. So these are the two things that you have to keep in mind. You have to build trust by putting consistently putting good quality content, and once that has happened and they're ready to listen more from you, then you are ready to monetize. Right? Now here, another point that I try to make is, about a decade ago, there's a person called Kevin Kelly who wrote an article called 1,000 True Fans, 1,000 True Fans. In this article, what he basically said is a simple action plan to focus on creating a small community of interactive followers rather than a large community with little or no traction. Right? You can read the article, just search 1,000 True Fans online and you will get it. It's a very iconic article and you should definitely read it. Now, what he talks about, that imagine over time, because you showed up, there are a certain number of people who have started trusting you very heavily. And that number, if you take it to 1,000, and they're willing to pay you $100 a year for an entire year of content that you're going to make, they're going to pay you $100 a year. You make $100,000. That's a very simple math that he established, and it is actually very true now. I know a lot of people who run online courses or even write these online books or newsletters, who has a subscription rate of $1,000 a year, and they only focus on 100 customers. They don't want more customers. Like, they don't want to become a $1 billion business or $1 million business. They only focus on a fixed number of revenue, fixed number of customers. They're extremely happy with it because it's less work and you have a very closely knit community who loves what you do. And these are called true fans. And as a content creator, this is very key for you. Like, we do online quizzes. Like, from last year onwards, we started doing consumer focused online quizzes every weekend, right? So now we at GyanSpace would also have these true fans who join all our quizzes, no matter what topic it is. So we do topics like Harry Potter, we do topics like Bollywood, we do topics like Olympics, and so many other variety of topics. So every weekend there is something new that is coming up their way, and it's one way to sort of relive their childhood or school days and play a simple online quiz in the weekend and have a little more fun in the process, right? So you need to kind of build a similar true fan for yourself. Okay, 6 down, the last one left. Create now, but build for the future. So what I mean by that is, you have to think about creating content on a regular basis if you want to become a content entrepreneur. But you also need to be aware of how content is going to be distributed in the future, how the content is going to be monetized in the future. And that's where future technologies come in. You have NFTs and blockchain, which are kind of changing the way content or anything else is being consumed online or valued online, right? So I'll give you an example. So your tweets, right? Many of you must be aware that on Twitter, you can tweet, right? So nowadays, you can assign an NFT to each of these tweets, right? So for example, Jack Dorsey, who was the founder of Twitter, the first tweet that he ever tweeted It was recently sold for $2 million, or actually more than $2 million, right? On an NFT, have you ever thought of selling your tweet for $1 million? Now it's becoming a reality now. Before you ask me, the marketplace where it did it is called Cent, C-E-N-T. So do check it out. So there are multiple such marketplaces for NFT. If you are an artist or an art creator, there are platforms like OpenSea where you can actually sell your art as an NFT. So what is an NFT? It's basically called a non-fungible token, which basically means that I am assigning a verification that this art is created by you, or I am assigning that this tweet is yours, right? So if anybody has copied this tweet or created a duplicate image on internet for you, they won't get, even if they share your content will always be yours. And that's a very bold step in the content creation, because in most cases what happens that if you create a meme online, people share it everywhere, and then it's no more really your content, right? Because a lot of people have copied the file and shared everywhere else. But now the file will have a digital signature for everyone else to know that it's yours. And then if somebody eventually monetizes this, perpetually you will get a royalty. You will get 10% or whatever the commission is. You will keep getting that royalty if somebody else is selling it somewhere else. It's almost like having music, and then if you use somebody else's music and used it on your YouTube video, the YouTube will tell you that this is license infringement. You can still post it, and they will say that if this is monetized, then the money will actually not come to you because it's posted on your channel, but it will actually go to the creator of the music. So it's kind of in the similar zone, right? So do check out more on this. Another thing is that how blockchain is kind of changing the media or the content domain per se. So there is a platform called Steemit, which is STEEMIT, which is more like a decentralized social media site that rewards for creating content and interacting with other users, right? Imagine a social media that pays you, and you don't have to depend on advertisers' money, right? And they use something called Steem tokens, so incentivize the socialization in the community, right? So, and that's the power of a social network. So these things are coming up, and also even I am learning, and I am not aware all the time. But if you have the time and you want to go into this business, you have to be aware. Because if that is what is going to happen 5 years down the line, is going to become a norm, if you do it now, you have the leverage and the advantage both. Like I invested in crypto when early in like 2016, 2015, 16, or even earlier at times. And now there are so many things that has happened. Of course, I have lost some, I have gained some. There are so many things that has happened. But that's the thing. If you can be a pioneer in the space, if you can be the first mover, the risk is yours, but the advantage is also yours. So keep that in mind. So a lot of people think, oh, there is not much chance to make money in podcasting right now. I will check it out later. Don't do that mistake. Get into a field which is still very nascent. Build a considerable amount of content and a brand there. When the time comes, you will have a much further advantage than many others in that domain. All right. So this is something that the Greeks, they used to have a thought process, or Stoic principle, as they would call it, called premeditation malorum, which that means is the premeditation of evils. If you translate it into practical English, what it means that you rehearse all the possibilities of the future. And this is something that you can do today. Like when you are trying to create an NFT or trying to create, put your content in the blockchain ledger, or you're creating for the future, keep in mind that rehearse what the outcome in the future could be. Hypothetical, but still do it, because that way you will be less anxious and you will have a better game plan on how to handle if things go in other direction. All right. Now, I'm going to leave you with one last thought. That is, in time, almost all humans may work to amuse other humans, while robots run competitive primary industries like food production and manufacturing. This is a quote by a very famous Caltech scientist. And it's fascinating to me because at the speed at which traditional professions, which have iterative work processes like banking, accounting, lawyers, all of this are becoming redundant. In our lifetime, there would be a time, it'll come, I'm being bold here, that probably content creation might become the only future profession. With that note, I'm going to end my talk, and I hope I've been able to give you a summary of what entails in becoming a content entrepreneur. So I'm going to just revise those 7 habits or principles of a highly effective content creator or a creator for all of you once again. Number 1, you are in the business of you. Number 2, find the product market fit. Number 3, choose a medium that you can't do without. Number 4, play it, don't work it. Number 5, find the zone of super you. Number 6, your audience is your God. And number 7, create now, but build for the future. Thank you so much for being an attentive listener. Open to questions. So if you have any questions, put it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them as I go along. I hope that was somewhat insightful and helped you to some extent expand your mind towards the possibilities that content and entrepreneurship bring in the future. Great. So I want to thank the college authority for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak to future entrepreneurs, and also all the students who took time out on a Saturday morning and be here. As I said, being here is the most important part. Now, whatever you have learned from Ojas sir's conversation today and from my conversation today, please put them into action and get ready to transform yourself. Best of luck and become a future entrepreneur.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kunal.
so much.
Yes, Gauri, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for giving such an important tips and guidance about entrepreneurship and making such an interactive session. I'm sure it will be very helpful for budding content creators. Thank you so much, sir. I request Team Technical to present the token of appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, any questions? I'm very easy to reach out. So my handles on social media, everywhere on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram is @KunalJU. Just put it in the chat as well. So if you want to reach out, all my DMs are open. Please feel free to kind of drop me a message there. Or you can also reach out to my email ID, which I'm just putting in the chat. It's kunal@gyanspace.com. Okay, so one question that I've got. If I miss some questions, please, someone, you can help me note it down. Right now, Sanjeev ji asks that how to bring guests on podcast initially. So initially, the best option is, of course, to make a list of people who you can reach out to from your own network, who also can add value to the audience that you're trying to reach out to, right? And then find that combination, the speakers who meet that combination, and then invite them and have a conversation. If you're planning to reach out to like people who are not in your network, it's a very standard process, right? You have to go to LinkedIn and keep sending messages. And if you send a large number of messages, probably 10% of them will reach, reply and say yes or no. So from there, you can go ahead. But I'll tell you a very surprising thing, that is, most people don't reach out to well-established people because they think that they will already say no. And in most cases, it's actually not true. So they are the ones who say yes very frequently because they have a lot to give back to the community, society, or anywhere else that they look at it. Can I start with some of my friends who are better in some stuff and have a conversation? Yes, of course. There are many podcasts. Actually, most podcasts start with, if you're doing an interview podcast, most start with friends. There are podcasts where you actually have multiple people on it, not just two people, where you are interviewing someone else. So how that works is, it's like having an evening conversation, right? So you have invited some friends over for dinner, you are sitting down on the table or the sofa, and we're just having a conversation on a film that you've watched or a political situation that is going on, like the normal conversations that we typically have, or a book that you've recently read. All of those are content, and they can be put out in the form of podcast if you just record it, edit it, and put it out.
Sir, can I ask you in audio format? Like, I'm like not comfortable much in typing. So can I ask you this?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So the question was, sir, I have a topic in mind all the time, right? But how to stick on the topic and like make it more valuable in terms of listeners? Like, I feel not much confident if I'm like making a lot of value into it or not. Like, the thing is, if I have a theme, right, on a topic, right, I've talk on that, but I have to stick on that. So I don't know how to go for it.
Okay, so the funny thing is, you just have to put it out there and collect audience feedback. There is no easy way for it. So there was a famous author who once said, basically, someone, this is a event that I went to, and someone asked that author that, what is your suggestion for young authors? So he said, write 1 million words, right? So his logic was that you finish writing 1 million words, you will already become a better author than you were before. So just keep doing it till you find it. And also, don't worry too much about what your audience is going to think, because in the long run, you're going to figure that out. Put what you want to say, put that out first. See how people are reacting to that. In entrepreneurship, there is something called pivoting. That means you may have started with an original idea first, but by the time your company was funded, or your company 5 years later, your company grew, you may have become completely different company. Right? So, for example, if you look at Zomato today, Zomato started as what? Just a restaurant listing platform, which would click the menu cards and then upload it on their website. That was the basic idea, nothing else. But now they are the largest food delivery company. They're also into nutrition and so many other things that they are kind of diversifying into. So yes, this will happen with you and your content eventually as well. So don't worry too much about what people are going to like or not. Just keep putting things out. But most importantly, collect feedback and take a note of that, and then make those changes accordingly.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I must say that this speech was very powerful. It's not a speech basically. It's like kind of real practical things that we are like that can be applied in our life, in our like business, maybe in profession. as well. So it was like very powerful. That's 7 tips you have given, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure. It's the least I could do. Please feel
Sir,
free to reach out if you have any more.
how can I reach you on LinkedIn?
As I said, my handle everywhere is Kunal JU. JU is basically my college short form, so Jadavpur University. So
Okay,
it's
sir.
Kunal JU. So you will find me everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Everywhere it's the same.
Sir, this is like again awesome thing. Like you got the same username all over the platforms.
It is important because if you are planning to, I mean, I did not think of it that way when I created it.
Yeah.
But eventually it's necessary because these days social media handles are like your digital assets.
Yes.
It's like owning a house on so and so street. So you need to have the same address everywhere for people to be able to reach you. So
yes.
please do that if you haven't done that already.
That also kind of brings more originality in some way or form. Like if you have same handles, like people can easily authenticate you that you are the same person, maybe.
True.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sure. Okay, did I miss any other question in the chat? Can anyone confirm? Or if you have more questions, you can either unmute yourself and ask, or put it in the question, put it in the chat. I have about 5 more minutes with you.
I think they are done with the questions.
All right, sure.
Okay. Now I would like to call upon Isha Singh to propose the vote of thanks for today.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Isha Singh on behalf of BMS Department of Ram Niranjan Jhunjhunwala College and Fraternity. Extend a very hearty vote of thanks to everyone present here. Thank you so much to both of our speakers for today, Mr. Ojas Oja sir and Mr. Kunal Mandal sir, for sharing so much valuable information with us. Thank you so much to Principal Dr. Himanshu Davda sir and Director Dr. Usha Mukundan ma'am for your presence. Thank you to our fraternity for arranging such a valuable session. Thank you to Team Technical for helping us throughout the session. Last but not the least, the audience. Thank you for your involvement and willingness to attend this seminar. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you, Ojas ji, and thank you, Kunal. I think our students really had a wonderful session today. It was really, I think it was a very good moment for all of us, to celebrate World Entrepreneurs Day in such a manner. Thanks to both of you.
Pleasure is all ours, ma'am. It's the least we could do as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Just sir, I could not be there for the entire talk, but I would definitely check out the recording and reach out to you.
I'll share the recording.
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Have a happy Entrepreneurs Day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I
Fill out the feedback form and leave. Start leave.